In the past, we've seen a sea of games with retro roots, haven't we? Especially in the indie development scene. Seems to be all the rage right now. Some of them have been remakes, and some of them have been new original IPs. Some have been great, and some others... we don't speak of. So, how bad of a retro reviewer would I be if I didn't review some of these? Mighty Gunvolt. It was a free download if you purchased Azure Striker Gunvolt from the Nintendo eShop, but now you can actually buy it separately for $3.99, and it actually has a DLC right now for $2.99. This is for the 3DS. Now this game comes from the guys at Inti Creates. This Japanese gaming developer was formed by former Capcom employees. Many of their games have been influenced by Mega Man, like the upcoming Mighty No. 9 and the not so subtle Mega Man 9 and 10, of course. This was for last generation consoles. I should look at these sometime, maybe in a marathon of Mega Mans or something. Maybe, someday. Since this game seems to be a match between Gunvolt, Galgun, and now Mighty No. 9, I'm guessing the story has something to do with these universes, if at all. I say I'm guessing because I've never played any of them, but I really wanted to review this game as a standalone retro game. It has some text at the beginning, and when you finish it, I would normally say spoilers ahead, but since this makes no freaking sense to me at all, I'll tell you this, don't worry about it. Just here, you're gonna listen my first actual impressions the first time I read the ending. Was the true planning of Sonda with his death no one may never know, the fight place it's unknown, if anything really existed in that world was real. So perhaps all Sonda has somehow may have been illusion? What the fuck is that? What? What? Shit, this makes zero sense. What the fuck was that? And from what I saw, the story is the same no matter which character you choose, so... I don't know. The story of the game sucks balls, for sure, but as I said on my Rubbing Cats review, there are many games that the story really doesn't matter. It's not important. I just hope this is one of them. The presentation is what drove me to buy this game in the first place. And now that I've finished the game, I can really say that it's still everything I was hoping for. It's funny how sprite art seems to be timeless, unlike polygons, for instance. I really love the graphics in this game. They are just a perfect representation of an 8-bit game. The music I found to be a mixed-bag to me. Some tracks are cool and catchy, but there are some others that are just forgettable and uninspired. Ippo Yamada is the composer, and I find his work to be just like that. I love some of his work, and some of his other tracks I just... The sound effects are okay, but many of the sound effects are, let's say, a little more than just inspired by some other games. Check this out. And of course that's not the only thing where the game, let's say, took inspiration from other games. Overall, I would say that the presentation is top-notch, especially of course the graphics. As I said, I love the sprite art, and this one does it very well. If I have one gripe with it, and I know I'm gonna be on the minority here, but I do enjoy the 3D. This game was made for the 3DS only, and it has zero 3D effects. Don't get me wrong, I never play a game in 3D for 100% of the game, but I like to have the option that sometimes I want to look into it how the 3D looks. The 3D effect, like in Shovel Knight for instance, was amazing. It gave the game a lot of depth to look at. And of course you could turn it off if you like to, but this game just doesn't have the option to do it. You can choose from 3 different characters and they'll have very different abilities. Gunvolt. He has a double jump, a normal pistol shot, and a charge attack that you can steer. Oh, I love how the 3DS shows how to play the game in the lower screen. Galgan's Icaro. She shoots arrows and has a charge attack that you can use to control enemies. Once they're in your sight, the computer controls it, and from what I saw, it doesn't matter which enemy you seduce, they all end up doing the same lame attack.
Pew, pew.
And she can also float for a bit. Mighty number 9's Beck. He shoots from his arm cannon, just like Mega Man, and has a dash attack. Besides the different abilities between the characters, there isn't much that is different. The level order seems to be a bit different, but since you can choose whichever level you want since the start, this point is just null. And I just gotta say that for some reason, if you wanna choose another character while playing, I did not find any way to do it within the game. You actually have to close the game in order to choose a new character. A small gripe, but a gripe nonetheless. Out of the 3, Beck was the worst one for me. Both Gunvolt and Ekoro are much more fun to use. Beck seems a lot more generic in its mechanics. When I used him, I really missed the double jump or the floating ability, for instance. And this is really a shame because I'm really looking forward for Mighty number 9, and hopefully the level design is much better suited for him in that game. And talking about the level design, in many areas you will see parts where you can only access with a specific character, like dashing here or double jumping there, but these parts only amount for a very weak reward, and in a few cases it's a small alternate route, but they don't really affect anything in the game. Except for very few areas, most of the level design in this game is very simple and uninspiring. These levels are super easy. I find myself not dying and just waiting to fight the next boss. And why am I waiting to get to the next boss? Well, because they are probably the highlight of the game. These are what provides the game with challenge. They are imaginative and very cool looking, and without them, honestly, the game would have not been the same. The game I found to be super easy. Without the DLC, I finished the game with all 3 characters in around an hour. But here's what's interesting. If you already decided to buy this game, get the DLC. Without it, the game feels incomplete. It adds more areas to play and they are actually challenging. Unlike the rest of the game, I found myself enjoying the DLC much more than the original game alone. Oh, and before I forget, is it just me or the D-pad on the 3DS is just not the same as using the old school one? It's much more clickier, which I don't find to work particularly well with platformers. Look how much mushier feeling the Bone NES one is. The placement as well is weird. It has an offset with the buttons and it's too close to the circular pad. And of course the size, I mean, look at it. And this is supposed to be the XL version. Overall though, I found the game to be a very fun platformer, especially when using Gunvolt and Icaro. When using Beck, it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's better with the other characters. I really love that we have developers bringing us retro-style games in modern times, and that there are big audiences for these. And of course there's a reason for that. Many of the retro mechanics that have been lost in modern games are just fun, and people like that. It's not only for nostalgic reasons. Mighty Gunvolt is a fun game with retro roots and looks. For $4 it's a no-brainer, but really, spend that extra $3 in the DLC. It makes the game much more complete. If you don't do that, you will get just an hour of gameplay without much else to do. So, thanks for watching Gokado's Retro Reviews, and hasta la próxima. You like your games to look like shit? Push the all and air buttons at the same time. You can stretch the game. Awesome. 2014 is almost done, and to me, it would always be the year I started making videos. Happy holidays to everyone. I wish you all health and to enjoy this time with your family and friends. I'll be taking a break until around mid-January with more videos and reviews. Thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you guys next year. Feliz Navidad y próspero Año Nuevo.
Wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy